Oh, hi there. Today I'm planting a couple trees. The first rule I have for you is recruit a friend. Planting a tree by yourself can be difficult, or so I'm told. I've never planted a tree before. Come with me, we'll learn together. Hi, Greg. Thanks for helping me get these trees planted. I've already called 811 about underground utilities, so I know where I'd like to plant them. Greg works with the Denver office of the city forester, so he's just the friend to have when it comes to trees.
All right, it's great. You've already called 811, so we can avoid underground utilities. This also looks like a safe spot since we're not close to any structures or under a power line. It's always important to match the size of the tree at its mature size to the space and soil available. And I see you have all your supplies ready. Let's make sure you have everything. Hand pruning saw, hand pruners, chart spade, soil probe, bolt cutters, large tarp, rake, shredded wood mulch, water hose, shovel, measuring tape or yardstick, soil knife. It looks like we have everything we need, and you already have your safety glasses, gloves, and boots on, so we're all set. Let's see the tree we're going to plant.
Actually, we're planting 2 trees.
Okay, it looks like you have a container tree and a bolt and burlap tree here, so we'll plant this slightly differently.
A bald and what?
Bolt and burlap. These trees have typically grown in the ground and then we're dug up to plant somewhere else. So burlap and this wire basket are put around the root ball to keep it together. It's often fairly heavy, like 200 plus pounds, so it's important to have 2 of us work together for safety. This tree was planted and has grown in this container.
I didn't know he was a tree genealogist.
There is one other type of planting method that we call bare root, which is a lot like it sounds. The tree comes without soil around the roots, but we won't worry about that today.
Sounds good to me. Let's get started. All right, help me get this tree to where we'll be planting it.
Be careful, always hold it from the bottom. Now the main difference between planting this container tree and the bolt and burlap tree is in how we will prep the roots. And of course, different species of trees grow at different speeds, so they could be bigger or smaller than this when we plant them. Let's get started. Our first step is to find the root flare.
Okay, sounds good. Wait, what's a root flare? That sounds bad.
The root flare is actually really important because when we plant the tree, it needs to be about 1 to 2 inches above the soil. It helps the tree get oxygen and water. As we like to say, planted too low, it won't grow. Planted high, so it survives. Here it is.
Okay, and what about these? Are these root flares?
Don't be fooled by this. These are what we call adventitious roots. They grow to compensate for the root flare if it gets buried underground. We should trim them up before we plant.
All right, so I already dug up a part of this hole. How do we know that the hole is the right depth so we don't bury the root flare?
Let's measure from the bottom of the container to the root flare to find out.
Okay, it's 8 inches.
Great. Now we'll subtract 1 or 2 inches from that, and that's how deep our hole should be, so 6 or 7 inches.
Wonderful. This hole seems incredibly wide though.
You're right, and it should be. We want it to be 3 to 4 times wider than the diameter of the container. And this shape looks good. We want it to have a flat bottom and sloping sides.
Gotcha. Why can't we just dig a hole that's the size of the tree?
Well, the ground is often really compact. By digging a wider hole and putting looser soil in, it'll be easier for the tree's root to grow outward into the new soil as it establishes itself. And fun fact, most roots are in the top 18 inches of soil. Some people might think a tree root grow down, but most of the roots grow outward, close to the surface.
All right, let's get this tree out of its container.
Here, we can tap the container to help loosen the root ball to remove it.
All right, I'll drop it into the hole.
Wait, there's one more step first. Check out these roots. What do you notice?
It looks like they're going around in circles.
Correct. If we plant the tree like this, the roots will keep growing in a circle and eventually choke the tree. So we actually need to cut this first. We should also look for any girdling roots that might already be choking the tree, so we can cut those too.
Doesn't that hurt the tree?
Nope, it's actually very important for its growth, and since we know this tree was planted in this container, we know its roots are intact, so some pruning it's okay. First, we'll want to make sure our hands are sharp, because a clean cut is important. Then, if we cut like this and shave off the outer 1 inch of soil, see how ends up the roots now pointing outward?
Yep.
This way, the roots will grow outward into the wider parts of the hole we were just talking about.
So, before we start planting this tree, let's talk about that balled and burlap tree.
All right, we will take a different approach with this tree since, of course, we have this wire basket and burlap around the root ball. First, we will want to take off the bottom third of the wire basket.
All right, let's stand this tree up. And now we have to find the root flare.
Yes, typically we'll use a probe to poke into the top of the root ball until we hit something solid, and then can mark it on the burlap to do our measurements again for the hole.
Great, so let's check the diameter to make sure we've dug the hole wide enough. All right, the dimensions of the hole check out. Now we plant. Looks good. Now for this burlap and wire.
Yes, now we can take this off. It's okay to leave the very bottom part of the burlap, but we want to make sure all of this wire and twine is off.
Should we prune this tree's roots too?
Nope, not for this one. This tree already had around 70 to 90% of its roots pruned when it was harvested from the nursery. So it's really important we don't disturb the root ball in balled and burlap trees in order to protect the roots that are left.
Okay, so now we put the soil back in?
Yep, but first let's make sure it's straight. We will need to look at it from two angles that are 90 degrees apart. It might look straight from one angle and crooked from another, and it's hard to adjust after planting without damaging the tree. Let's make sure this tree is straight. This looks good. Just be sure to move the tree from the root ball and not the trunk. And in some circumstances, a tree might need staking for support. Okay, now time to backfill. And just so you know, the rest of this will be the same process for the container tree. Let's place the soil in even layers around the root ball. Here, you can use this shovel to gently tamp down the soil.
Great, and we'll need to add water too, right?
Yes, we should add water after each layer of soil. That helps the soil settle around the root ball. It's what we call water packing, but we don't want to compact it so those roots can grow.
Did you think we were done? Think again. We've got some mulch over there. All right, Now, do we spread this around the tree next?
Yes, but first we need to water the planting area for 10 minutes. Watering is incredibly important for the newly planted trees.
Whew. Okay, now we mulch.
Yes, and this is important. No mulch volcanoes.
Volcanoes?
Yep, let's make a ring around the tree, but leave about 6 to 12 inches mulch free around the trunk. A common mistake is putting mulch ring up by the trunk and making a mulch volcano. We like mulch donuts, not volcanoes.
Ah, right. We want the root flare to be able to get enough water and oxygen.
Exactly, and by putting about 3 to 4 inches of mulch out here, it will help keep the tree's roots cool and hold in moisture during sunny days, and help hold warm during colder periods.
Does it need anything else? Fertilizer?
Oh no, there is enough going on for the tree when it's planted. We don't want to put fertilizer on newly planted trees. The golden rule is to be sure you're watering it plenty. Each week, new trees need around 15 gallons per inch of trunk diameter. And be sure to keep lawn mowers and string trimmers away from the trunk. Let's be sure to take the tags off.
Thanks, Greg. I couldn't have done it without you.
You bet.
If you have any tree planting or forestry related questions, like I did, contact the Office of the City Forester. They can help. You can learn more about proper tree care on the website at denvergov.org/forestry.